And so I guess I'll start it off with just like a brief explanation of what's been going on with Shane Dawson. So for those of you guys who may not or do not know, Shane Dawson is a very prominent YouTuber right now. I think last time I checked, he has about 21 million subscribers still, and he's very famous for his documentary series that he does with very controversial YouTubers like Tana Mojo, Jake Paul, and Jeffree Star. So he brings in people who have a very like bad a dark history in a way, who had like some troubling issues in their past. Again, everybody knows about Jake Paul. Jeffree Star, his whole history of being very racist and saying and doing some things that have people just scratching their head, and Tana Mojo with her TanaCon that went horribly wrong. If you guys have heard about that, so with what happened with Shane Dawson is the fact of the matter is last year there was a huge controversy between Tati Westbrook and James Charles, two huge people in the beauty industry and makeup field. And after all the dust settled, James Charles came up on top with people looking at him saying, "Hey, James Charles was pretty much a guy trapped within a bad situation." But it turns out that what caused Tati Westbrook to attack James Charles was Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. And people started looking back in Shane Dawson's past and found out that he's done a lot of blackface and racist things. He has been very friendly and very kind of weird towards children. And to top it all off, he's been, very friendly towards animals to the point where you can describe it as bestiality.
Super nice to them. Very nice.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just been like, animal.
So I guess my sort of question to you guys for this podcast is,
hey, can I take you down for a walk?
Why was number one walker on WAG?
Can I take your pussy out for a walk, please?
So I guess my main question is to you guys and to our audience as well.
Is bestiality okay? Is bestiality okay?
No. We all know that, but it's a couple
What's
of things.
the question, Brad?
The question is, first of all, is blackface okay?
I'll speak on behalf of that. I think I should take the reins on that one.
All right, we can go here or there about that.
You know what, guys, you know what this show needs? Another swap man.
Okay, and I guess another question I want to ask you guys is, if we look back at a lot of Shane Dawson's content, a lot of it was already out. Like all the stuff that he said about being a pedo, messing with animals, and being in blackface was out, and people knew about this stuff. But it wasn't until like the Smiths came in with their entanglement and said something about it. So my question is it our fault as a society for not recognizing this sooner and not saying something quickly about it? Because a lot of his videos about him being in blackface, him saying some pedo shit, and him saying some very him doing some bestiality stuff on the side has been out, and we just are now, and this has already been out for a long time. So is it our fault as a society for not saying something and trying to stop it sooner? But, I'll let Jack start off with the whole blackface. You can go. Oh, I guess he's muted, but
I mean, I'll go while James is busy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I started off with blackface. I feel like I can speak on it the strongest,
Yeah.
and I have
Go ahead,
I think it's wrong. It's wrong, right? We shouldn't be doing that.
yeah. But
I love how you need to like encourage me. You're like,
I don't know what. It's not a laughing matter. Blackface is wrong.
It's.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick and say this.
I have arguments for it and against it. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
a good example, right, is like a TV show that I love. Actually, just kind of got some backlash for it, but basically, it's called Community, and there's an
Oh, yeah.
episode where they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and the Asian
yeah.
character, his name is Chang. He basically blackface himself, but it's not to be a black person. It's supposed to be like a black dark elf or something like that. So the thing is, like, I think he called himself like a Rogel or something like that. And there's a black character that makes a joke about it on the show. And it's like, are we just going to ignore that hate crime right there? You know? And so, like,
Yeah.
the argument, I guess, that I have for it is like, in this case, it's not to imitate a black person, number one. And then number two, like, it, you know, like in this context, I believe is acceptable. But it's, if you're just going out here black facing, pretending to be black, yeah, that's completely wrong and shouldn't happen. And maybe if the movie or something like that had some historical context behind it of like it's important to the plot, then I could agree with it being done. But otherwise, like, I don't think it should be used just for like random comedic purpose, or, you know, just to do it.
Yeah, as somebody with a
one example.
friend who's a black man, and first kiss was a black man. I agree. It should be when it's used in poor taste. Yeah, it's not cool. But when it's just they're an elf, like, and they're painted black, what's that?
You know, I think just like another thing I want to point out is I think all of y'all have seen Tropic Thunder, right?
Yeah. That's my example.
That's a good.
It's like, you know, like Robert Downey Jr. like with the full black face, and like he plays like this entire black character, and like, you know, funnily enough, this character was nominated for the Oscar, and it's just like it just makes you question a lot of things. It makes you question the Academy Awards itself within itself. But then, you know, it's just like, I mean, yeah, sure, for entertainment purposes, whether, you know, and if this person is really playing like this, like, you know, character, is it okay? Is like my question to you guys. Is it like okay even if it's
have
for
you seen
Tropic? Oh, go ahead.
Have you seen Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I that's like one of the cases that people try to bring up, but like it's definitely like one of the ones that's like not a good one, if that's what you're trying to go at.
Well, I mean, I would also think
exactly.
But
okay.
If you're gonna have a black character, don't blackface a white person for a black character. You know.
Well, isn't he in the movie?
Go ahead.
Oh, so I can go ahead.
Like playing someone else that it's wrong. Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Well, just to hop on Tropic Thunder real quick, if you really look at the movie, it's really saying that is pointing the fact that Hollywood for a very long time has casted white people or people of light skin as darker skin roles, and that's something that Hollywood has done a lot, especially old Hollywood. You look at those old Egyptian movies. Again, those are people who don't know Egypt's in Africa. And you look at those old Cleopatra movies, it's white actors playing Africans.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I think Tropic Thunder is a good example because it's pointing the fact of the matter is
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, Hollywood's going to put a very famous, because Robert Downey Jr.'s character is a very famous kind of big name actor in the movie. And so they'd rather cast a very famous white person to play a black role in order to get people in the theaters. And I think, and even today, I mean, I forget I think it was Exodus, where it was about the Moses and like
Moses
that.
Moses and the Jews.
Yeah, and you had Christian Bale play Moses. Which is
exactly.
And he has to Gonya Weaver in the movie as well. So like, again, why are you having these white actors play African people? And
honestly, I feel like that's a stereotype a little bit. I mean, like the common person, if they were to say, "Oh, who would play like an Egyptian actor?" they wouldn't say like a really black or dark person. I don't know. I think that's a stereotype.
Yeah, but like, you know, this is another thing that really pisses me. Like, you know, if you really think about it, the way like the West portrays Jesus, also, like, I mean, if you really talk about like stereotype, like Jesus is like the way you see, like, if you see Jesus in like a church or something, he's like fair skin, and I'm like, Jesus was like born in the Middle East, like he's literally born, he's a Syrian, He's technically a Syrian national. So,
Hot take.
he was born in Damascus. So
Yeah.
he's Middle Eastern. So, and
Yeah.
he's brown skinned. He's brown as he's almost maybe as brown or maybe browner than I was.
Exactly. And I guarantee you, if Jesus came back the way he was, a lot of people will try to deport him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to blackface. I was gonna say, like, if you are a white person trying to make black edgy comedy, I recommend you watch The Boondocks and Black Dynamite, because those two shows do black edgy humor the best. And I think people, when it comes to edgy humor, don't understand what edgy humor is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Edgy humor
Yeah.
is supposed to make a point. If you're not making a point with your edgy humor, then it comes off that you're being either a sexist, being anti-homophobic, being racist, because that's the whole point of making those edgy jokes, is to enlighten those who don't understand a certain topic, or point out a fallacy in something. Like, again, Robert Downey in blackface, his whole thing was to point out the fact that Hollywood casts white people in darker skin roles, and that was the whole point of him being in blackface. And people called him out in the whole entire. Shane Dawson, he was in blackface, so he could say the N-word and act like a black fool.
Dude, that kid's an
Did he
idiot.
actually do that?
He did.
N-word?
Like,
He definitely had a black character.
Yeah, like there's plenty of skits of him in blackface saying the N-word live. Not live, but edited on his YouTube channel before he got famous.
Yeah,
And it's
I
just-
remember those videos. Like, as a kid growing up with YouTube, like, I remember, like, watching Shane Dawson. He was always, like, putting face paint on and, like, just saying ridiculous shit. And at the time, I was like, oh, this is normal YouTube.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, like, to also ask this question, is it our fault as a society for not calling this out sooner? I mean, now that, George Floyd, the whole police brutality thing, and everybody's starting to become more enlightened with, minority culture, I'm glad people are recognizing that this shouldn't pass and this is wrong. But it was wrong back then too. So why is it that nowadays people are realizing, oh, this is wrong?
I think it's just the development of society. It's the same thing with, like, something way worse, but, like, slavery. Like, slavery was wrong, but back then, everyone just, like, that was just the norm. And, like, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, blackface was wrong now, but everyone seemed to be okay with it. Or not everyone, but, like, it was just not known to be wrong. And shit changes and societies grow. And I think that's just this, like, a similar but more drastic analogy, I guess. How do you feel about Always Sunny? Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They had the episode
with the with the lady.
Like, you shouldn't be doing that. With what?
I forget. It's the woman in blackface, right?
They have two. There's two. The Mac goes in blackface for one of the episodes when they recreate Lethal Weapon. But the whole time they're, like, saying that, like, it's addressing the fact that it's wrong and, like, that they shouldn't be doing it. But they took the episode off. But that one's a little more dicey. But I think it was more addressing, like you said, it was like an edgy, like, for a point that these guys are, like, the worst people ever, and, like, that that they are just, like, these shitty people who are making a video like this, and that it is wrong, and, like, these narcissistic people are doing this wrong, but, like, but the episode got taken off. Have you guys seen that?
No,
I haven't seen the episode, but I'll take your word for it. I don't think it should be taken down then.
Yeah, same here. It's the same with, like, Looney Tunes, in my opinion. Like, Looney Tunes has a lot of, like, blackface episodes where, like, an explosion will happen and the character will get in blackface, the big lips, and certain episodes just end in blackface. And I think that, you should allow those episodes because it is history, but you should put a disclaimer out in front.
Yeah, it's a growth. I think a lot of those, like, episodes and stuff, like, have a warning, like, this show like has like graphic, like offensive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that song is literally like one of the like it's called What Makes the Red Man, I think it's Red.
Red. Yeah,
The
yeah.
Peter Pan. Yeah, it's the Peter Pan song, and they just like roast Native Americans, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so bad. My dad was like, do you remember that? Like, so like, the whole thing was coming up with like all this stuff like being changed, and I rewatched it. It's bad. Oh my god, so bad.
Yeah, like you seen Dumbo with the crows?
Oh yeah, dude, Disney's got a dark past, dude.
Oh
It's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, well, Walt Disney was racist, like that was kind of thing, but
so
it's that
racist.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, but yeah, you look at you seen Song of the South, which Splash Mountain's based off of.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah. People
I've
are
heard
fucking
about
pissed
that.
about Splash Mountain being revamped. Like people do not like that.
Honestly, if you ask me, I think they should have the movie on Disney Plus. But again, because you shouldn't, I guess, whitewash or cleanse history in a way. You should have that stuff there so people can. Like you say, hey, look. At the time, we thought it was fine to have this type of content, but now that times have changed, we have matured and understand cultural boundaries. You know, this is wrong.
You gotta learn from history. You can't just erase it.
This is actually this is another example I thought of. This is kind of like a funnier one, but I remember I saw this meme like when Disney Plus first came out. There was it was like an older Disney show, like the real life ones, like
movies.
Well, yeah, it was like a movie, but it was like the ones they used to show on Disney Channel when we were kids, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was one of those, and there was like a black kid and a white kid. It was kind of funny, but the white kid like makes a drink for him. I think it's like Kool-Aid or something like that, right? So he makes one cup for him, and then he makes one cup for the black kid, and the black kid drinks it, and he like shakes his head like this, and the white kid's like, oh, I forgot about you. And the white kid gets this big bowl of sugar and he throws it inside the black kid's drink, and the kid drinks it and he's like, good job. I'm like, just looking at my YouTube, it's the funniest.
But coming back to like the whole thing of like normalizing pedophilia, it's just like why are people okay with it? Like why, even though there's a niche crowd of it, it's still, people are still okay with it. People are still okay with electing officials. People are still okay with listening to the music of such people, or like R. Kelly with fucking peeing on like minors and shit, or like even Michael Jackson before that, like he's apparently like fucking sexually harassed one of his like this thing, even though later on it came out that he didn't do it, but for the longest time everybody fucking thought of tobacco.
To respond to you, Mug, like I think the reason really is it's like, when somebody already has like an established like fan base, they make it really easy to overlook something. It's like, I feel like, say this was like, for example, the best example I could give is like, say if it was like an up and coming artist, right? And it's like, then this kind of news that they're involved in pedophilia happens. It's so much easier for you to cancel that person because they don't have a body of work that you grew up listening to. Yeah. Which, I mean, once again, I don't think it's right. Like, you shouldn't be supporting these people either way. But like, in terms of like, for example, the biggest example I can give is like what we talked about a few weeks back with the Smash Bros community, right? For example, like, I loved all of Zero's content, right? And then it turns out he did a bunch of weird ass pedophilia shit. And, like, I canceled him, the whole community canceled him, right? And the thing is, it's like, that person was very significant to what Smash was and still is, honestly. And it's like, you look at that and you still have people sympathizing for him based on what he's done. And you're like, I don't agree with it. But like, you can kind of see where like people are like, oh, I can separate an artist from his work if it doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? And it's a weird kind of mindset to be in.
But jumping off of what you said, here's another thing which like literally blow your mind. So you guys know Kevin Spacey, right? House of Cards.
Yeah.
So there was like this very recent thing which happened where like apparently he did like a lot of pedophilia shit himself, and like he apparently raped a minor. I'm not sure, but sorry.
That's like that. Yeah, that's well known. Yeah.
Yeah,
Spacey's like a total. That was a while ago.
Yeah. So that while ago, but the thing is, at the end of the day, like the outrage was so much that like they fucking cancelled him. Like they even killed him on the show House of Cards. Like Robin Wright took over. So like my point is that like even with like what you said about Smash Bros, like that XYZ gamer who you mentioned. So essentially that's exactly my point. That at the end of the day, it's like we see most of us, even though irrespective of whether this person is an established artist or like a politician or whatever, I think we need to like really like even if this like, I mean, dude, Shane Dawson was pretty much caught on video fucking apparently jerking off to Willow Smith's like picture or like pic or something. I'm like, bro, like why is this okay? Like this should not be made okay. Like this person clearly needs help. Like any person fucking jerking off to a 14-year-old, 15-year-old's picture is like there are so many dudes who are like fucking jerking off to Millie Bobby Brown, the chick from like Stranger Things. And I'm like, and that really scares the fuck out of me because I'm just like, bro, I have like nieces and like nephews who are like 14 and 15, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck, man? Like, and like I don't think anybody should deserve to be like exposed to this level of like behavior at like this age when they're just discovering their sexuality. Like it makes me super uncomfortable. That's
It's the same.
Hold on a second.
What we do to even help out those people, like because like that's the thing, right? Like I was talking to my girlfriend about this like a few days ago, actually, where it's like like she says pedophilia in itself is kind of a mental illness, right? And I mean, like whether you choose to look at it the way or not, that's a discussion in itself. But I mean, it's like
serial killing.
But if it is a mental illness, right? How do you fix that? And like, there's no answer to fix that. Like, there's no way to shut off their brain to be like, no, this is bad. Yeah. And like,
apparently there is actually there are chemical this thing which like cut down your testosterone levels to like apparently like give you more like this thing. Like I think that's known as chemical castration. If I'm not mistaken, that kind of dulls your entire like sexual libido and like your thoughts and stuff. Like at least I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, so I really don't know this. But I don't know how this is proven, but this apparently is an answer. Excuse me. This is an answer. I mean, if you're going to like, because I mean, Joe Biden fucking inappropriately touching a 14-year-old is not an answer. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
Like, hold on for a second. But just to go back on your point real quick, I remember the last biggest artist to really people make these countdown clocks for these artists. I remember the last biggest one was what's her face? I forget her name. But who?
Cardi B.
Doja Cat.
No, not Doja Cat, but she's a white girl with the green hair, green and black hair.
Oh, Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. She recently turned 18, and dudes literally made a countdown clock for her.
That's terrible.
Jesus.
And again, also another thing that's very important to keep in mind, guys, is apparently sexual grooming is not illegal in America. So for those people who don't know what grooming is, basically grooming is the process of taking a minor and basically coercing them or mentally conditioning them to feel like it's okay for them to have sex with older people who aren't their age, or just to have sex in general with the person who's being groomed.
Yeah.
And that's something that you see in Shane Dawson's stuff, and also with people saying, I can't wait for so and so to turn 18 so I can go hit that. Which I'm like, dude, you're fucking 40. Why the fuck you mess around with this fucking kid right now? But go on.
Now that you mentioned that, now that you mentioned that, there's this friend of mine who recently she when she came to UF, she was 17. So like a lot of she was like, she had this like protective layer around her, like with like people were like, don't give her drinks, or like if somebody tries to approach her at a club or something, like just form this like protective ring around her. The moment she turned 18, everybody was just like, yeah, fuck off. Now we're going to try. Now we're going to try our luck with you. And I was just like, I mean, it's not at the same level as what you said, Brad, but I'm like, I can see what you mean though. I can see what you mean. And like when she told me this, and she seemed relatively okay with it, or like at least at that time we were just getting to know each other. So she hid her emotions pretty well, but I saw through it and I was super uncomfortable. I didn't tell her this. And if she watches the show, I'm saying this now, dude, I was super uncomfortable when she told me this. And I was like, you do realize that this is wrong on so many levels, right? Like, this is like this is crazy fucking business, man. I mean, like, why are we normalizing, like, why are even people relatively normalizing that, oh, it's okay for like a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old to have sex with a
I don't
fucking
know
minor?
why do you keep thinking it's normalizing? Because like there's people that are racist in the world and that's shitty, but there's other people who are racist and they normalize that, if that's what you're saying. There's normalizing going on in those niche communities that it's known to be shitty to any normal person. Like it's just kind of a tired topic that like we know that it's pedophilia is wrong. It's just these people are out there and there's other people like them. It's just they're not normalized. I don't think that like you're using this word like it's a common thing. I don't think it's being normalized.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
you
guess
see it a lot. That's my point. What I'm trying to say is that you see it a lot, but nobody's. I mean, we're not actively acting out against it. It's just like you keep seeing these people pop up. You keep seeing this pop up in multiple fields, and like it's just like I think it's normalized. But what I'm trying to say is like it's popping up in multiple fields, and I don't see a lot
And
of
we choose
action
to
being
like
taken.
neglect it. Like I think the argument
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing
is
that's
that
what I'm trying to say.
it's
Like we're
yeah, like if you have somebody who's popular and then it comes out like that and then they don't get canceled, people are just neglecting the fact that they're involved in something. So I think that's what he means more.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly
I
what
think
meant.
for the
Yeah.
I okay, it's good to clarify, but I think people like Shane Dawson like are being exposed. Like it's not like a switch you can just like cancel somebody. Like you can, but like it takes a time for people to like be exposed and to understand. And there's always going to be people that just stay on the side. Like Chris Brown has been canceled, but he still has a lot of fans.
that's very
He has a
true.
lot.
Yeah.
He has a lot of fans still.
Whenever,
It's
whenever
just
he releases
some
an
people
album.
don't care.
Yeah, and like I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, if that person provides entertainment to your life in some way, and like
Yeah.
you see, like in a weird way, like your identity attached to them for whatever reason, like some people are just gonna choose to ignore, like
Yeah.
what they did. And the thing is, like for a lot of people, there's gonna be outrage and they're gonna cancel them, but like they're still gonna live on with the supporters that still stay by.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's always a weird like sliding scale. Like someone like freaking what's his name? We were just talking about him.
Shane Dawson.
The guy from House of Cards.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. Like he got like flip switch canceled. Like I don't think there's
Exactly.
any kind of like. I think it's like on a legality basis. Like everyone's like, okay, yeah, that's illegal. That's terrible. He like totally raped these kids. That's wrong. Like he got flip switched. But then there's people like Shane Dawson, like kind of what you're saying, that are like, okay, he's done some sus things, but some people, like you're saying, like are able to look over it, and it's like an odd, like sliding scale of like how people just and then there's people like Chris Brown who beat the shit out of other people and have like so many like allegations against them, and even though like it's not pedophilia, like it's not like the worst thing he can do, they're still fans. It's crazy how like people just and like like just like a line that like is drawn but I don't know. It's impressive. Like the sliding scale of cancellation.
No, I will agree
Yeah,
with you on that.
That's very strange.
There is like a sliding scale when it comes to cancellation, and in a perfect world, it should be a case by case basis where you look at the allegations, you look how valid or how serious the allegations are, and if the person needs to be taken off, then yeah, you take them the fuck off. But with somebody like Shane Dawson, where there is just it's not just the pedophilia, it's also the blackface, it's also the bestiality. And that's the thing where a lot of this stuff has been out for a very long time. Like you said, Jack, you said you watching this back when you were a kid. But
yeah, dude, he's been a fucking weirdo for a while.
Yeah, and we're just now calling this out. So my thing is, how many more people are like this that we haven't called out yet, who haven't gotten the spotlight? That's my thing. It's just like
Chris D'Elia has a good line. It's, you've done the thing that's already like for celebrities, like you've already done the thing that's gonna ruin you. Like, and funnily enough, he's in the midst of a cancellation.
It's what's fucked up is sorry to cut you short, Jack, but like that's like funnily enough, that's actually mentioned in his show You, where it's like apparently like he's like harassing, like he's like, he's doing upskirts and like shit of like 15 and 16-year-old chicks, and like it's show like that's his like character in the show You, and like now it's out that this fucker was actually doing that shit. That is
No,
so
he was
fucking
also thinking
crazy.
Always Sunny. Like I think he had I think it was in Always Sunny in an episode. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, where he also played the role of a pedophile there. And like
Yeah,
but there's a funny video where he realized he's kind of fucked. Where like I guess he's like where it was like Snapchat, like somebody saying like, oh, Snapchat saves all your messages even though they're gone. And he was like, oh, fuck.
It was when he realized that you could screenshot messages. Yeah, I'm a big Crystalia fan. I it's not totally. I don't know if it's totally proven that he's like done anything like legally wrong, but morally he's a little sus, kind of a little bit creepy. But I don't. I think the jury's still out right now about Crystalia.